number 11 of Judd's Buds.
Yager.
Ryder Ritchie, which I got to say, I'm shocked because this was a guy that Z had pegged as a first-round talent this year. Again, somehow managed to fall to us, but he is only tied for the third highest on him. So I'm going to let Zeke take it away because I know he hasn't chimed in a ton yet. Zeke, you are the highest on Ryder Ritchie. What do you like about this guy?
Well, I guess, I can't say I've watched him too much, but I think, from reading up on him after the draft, seems to be a pretty good skater, a good playmaker. I know was on the young side for the draft too. I think he just turned 18 like a few days ago. So that, there's really just a lot of kind of room for him to continue growing and and see how he does the next year or two in the WHL. And I mean, I remember too, the funny thing about this is after they picked him, and the replies were a bunch of people going, "Oh, wild picking another tiny guy who's 5'10", 170." It's like, well, he's a 17-year-old kid, crying out loud.
And according to Elite Prospects, he's 6'1". So
wow, oh, he is. Oh shit, I thought he was like, yeah. So
he's just skinny because he's still a kid.
176.
Okay. So yeah, no, not too bad. But I think just for me, the fact that just that skill and the fact that he was a potential first-round pick at the beginning of the year with just, a lot of room to grow still, I think just kind of it's pretty interesting to me, and be fun to see how he kind of does this year if he can, assuming he's is healthy and on the ice for the whole year.
Sure. And Baki, you were second highest on him. Anything you want to add?
Yeah, I mean, like you mentioned, a good playmaking winger, won WHL Rookie of the Year 2 years ago and was putting up similar points as Berkeley Caedan.
He was third in scoring on that shit Raiders team. Like,
yeah,
as 16, really 17. Like,
wait,
holy
is
crap.
it Caedan or Caton?
Cat, I don't know.
I think you're confusing it with the board game that everyone likes, but it actually sucks.
Okay, stop it, Hoppy. It's a great game.
I know he put up
settle
decent
down,
points.
Isha.
I know his team was a first-round exit last year. He put up decent points, got injured. Amy started off strong, got injured. But I think we could see a possible 90-point player in the future here in the WHL. I'm just pretty high on him. He was a good second-round pick.
Yeah, he was like, I think after the first round of the draft, like a couple people who, because they know I'm obsessed with the Wild, were like, hey, who should they take in like the second round? Like, which players do you have your eyes on? And it's like, I'll be honest, I haven't done a whole lot of research, but if they found a way to get like Ryder Ritchie and Aron Kiviharju, I'd be pretty happy. Like one of those guys. And sure enough, they end up with Ritchie in the second and Kiviharju later. But, I think any time that you can get a guy that at one point was a first round talent and get him outside of the first round, I think that's the best thing teams can do in the draft, because a lot of times your picks outside the first round aren't going to hit, but the ones that do hit are the ones usually that had the upside. And I think that's what we have in Ritchie. Like, obviously he battled the injury, but and we talked a little bit about the playmaking ability, but I don't think you can write off his shot either. He's got a pretty deceptive release, pretty quick release, can make nice plays in tight spaces. He's a guy that likes to shoot on the move, which I think is a really transferable skill to the NHL. Being able to shoot on the move, get to the dirty areas to shoot. And he's also a right shot. Again, something that, the Wild don't have a ton of, and there's always a spot. I think this is a guy that, at some point could work his way into the top 9. How soon that is, but with an injury, hard to say, but I think the upside's there.
He looks so good in the playoffs this year too, even though only 5 games, but still, like he was one of the guys they leaned on for sure.
I mean, plus he played in the WHL, so Isha, you're really low on him.
Bro, I mean, I give him 14, man.
He played well in the
literally lowest on the rankings.
Yeah, what?
I think a couple of years ago he played well in the Link Gretzky Cup too for Team Canada. Had like 9 points in 5 games or something.
Yeah, no, I think he's awesome. I just, he's still young. We'll see how he does this year, and I think everyone above him
was just drafted as young. Really?
Only 2 years, Dub. We'll see. All
right, Z, swoon.
Yeah, I had him tail end of the first round. Middle of the year before the injury happened, I had him, I think, around like probably 18, 19, 20. Especially with this draft class, like a top 5 guy in terms of just like how smooth he is, the skill level, the dual threat offensively. Like, it is legit elite. Like the give and go game is comical. And again, like Brett, you said, like his ability to get the puck off in motion is a joke. Like that team at the beginning of the year sucked. And it was last year, the Hlinka, he was probably a top 3 player for Canada. Again, the injury did not help him at all this year, and missed like intermittent time too, which was like really threw a wrinkle in his season. But like his upside offensively is easy top 6. And coming into this year, like me and Hoppy talked about it, like, is there any position in this draft class where it's like you'd like to see them bolster as far as like guys with like legit ceilings go? And for me, it's always been like last 2 years or so, it's been like right wing and then anyone in net after Wallstedt. Because like they've got a bunch of guys that play like both wings, or they're a center that probably is going to end up being a winger. But Ryder Ritchie is a through and through sniper of a top 6 right wing, but that gives you that legit dual threat because the playmaking is very fun to watch as well. And he is a prick to play against. Like, it was always funny that the fact I did see like the comments about like, oh, he's undersized. I'm like, he is 6'1". He's not just 6 foot. He's 6 foot. He is basically 7'5". And as far as the NHL GMs go, but the ability for him to blend the playmaking with that snipe, like he is so fun to watch. He has legit top 6 upside. And I have like actual confidence that he will hit that. It's gonna be a very big year for him in the WHL. I think as far as like a breakout candidate goes, I don't really know if that counts if he was already rookie of the year 2 years ago. But for me, I think he's going to pop off this year, assuming full health. But the ceiling is super high for a kid like Ryder Ritchie. Even with the injury, again, I kept him in tail end of my first round. If he had stayed healthy, I think he would have, even on that bad team, ripped apart the dub. And would have probably stayed a middle of the first round guy. But I'm a big fan of his. When I first did my rankings, I had him significantly higher than I think I put him at 11. Yeah, 11. There it is. But just given how little hockey he played over the last like year, I went with some of the defensemen ahead of him. But he's one of my favorite guys in this pool now. Like, again, the dual threat, how good he is in motion, and how fun he is to watch when he is like angry. He is a great pick. So I was thrilled they got him in the second round. Big fan.
All right. Well, that does it. That rounds out 11 through 15 of Judd's Buds. Recap: at 11, we had Ryder Ritchie. 12, Caedan Bankier. 13, Rasmus, a.k.a. Jaromir Kumpulainen. 14, Aron Kiviharju. And 15, David Russo Spacek. Tune in next week. We'll be back with 6 through 10.
Top 10, baby.
Get into, the meat.
Almost. Or another.
Jesus. All right. End it.
End it.